Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Brahma Bulletin. I'm the Bullish Brahma, and I'm here to give you all the news, reviews, previews, updates, headlines, and everything San Antonio Brahmas. In a previous video, I went over the offensive line, what I like to call the bulldozers, and I talked about the importance of the offensive line. In this video, I'm going to go on the opposite end of the trench and talk about the defensive line as well as the linebackers, collectively known as the defensive seven. So, I think that the defensive line is very, very important when it comes to the whole defense as a whole. What I would like to see in our defense is a good defensive end, especially the right defensive end. Because like I said in the offensive line video, if the left tackle is the most important part on the offensive line because they are protecting the quarterback's blind side, well, then logic suggests that on the opposite side, it's going to be that right defensive end. So what I would like to see is a really good defensive end, right defensive end that can bull rush the quarterback. And no, bull rush is not just one of my typical bullpens. It actually is what they call it, bull rushing the quarterback. So if we can get an aggressive right defensive end that can bull rush the quarterback, which will force the offensive line to either double team him, maybe chip in a tight end or a running back, or maybe even an offensive wide receiver, something like that, that will free up other people on the defensive end to get to the quarterback. Also, what I would like to see is a run clogging interior line. So I remember, as you can see, I'm a Vikings fan. I grew up a Vikings fan, and I remember in the early years of the Mike Zimmer era, we had the Williams Wall, Pat Williams and Kevin Williams. Not related, but they just happen to have the last name. Well, Pat Williams was a big old beef patty, and he would constantly demand double teams. And Kevin Williams was also very good at bringing interior pressure, so he was also double teamed. And we also had Jared Allen, who was our right defensive end, so he was getting sack after sack after sack, which caused offensive line to have to chip him, which freed up Ray Allen, who was a left defensive end, to do his thing. But for like 4 or 5 solid years, the Vikings were the number one run defense in the league. Nobody would run against them, which limits the offensive play. So if you, as a defensive team, as the defensive side and the coordinator know that the quarterback and the offense is going to be passing all the time and not really running against you, then you can really pin your ears back, bring all kinds of pressure, bring some blitzes to the quarterback, and really shut them down. So another thing that we need a good pass rush is to create the quarterback to hurry. See, you don't really have to sack the quarterback every single time. Just getting pressure and hurries, that can be enough to throw the whole offensive ribbon off. Because quarterbacks typically don't like junk at their feet. They don't like bodies within this little circle of protection, causing them to have to scramble. Now, there are some scrambling quarterbacks that thrive in that, but you have your prototypical pocket passers. They don't like that. So if you can bring pressure, don't necessarily have to get to the quarterback and sack him every time, but just bringing that pressure enough can be good. And then having that run clogging interior line, shutting down the run, forcing the offense to be one-dimensional, allowing your defensive backs to just go back and know that they're going to be covering, that they don't have to come up forward to stop the run. So those, I think, are very, very important when it comes to the defensive line. Also, on part of the defensive front seven is the linebackers. That's the other part of it. So if I said that the center was the captain, the brains of the offensive line in my previous video, when it comes to the defense, I think it's the middle linebacker. Because typically in like the NFL, the middle linebacker, he's the one that has a little sticker on the helmet, so that means he's got the mic. So he's getting the plays in from the defensive coordinator, and then he's calling out the shots. So the middle linebacker, he's the one looking at the field, seeing what the offensive line, especially the center, is calling out. Center might be calling out, watch out for 53 on the blitz. So now the middle linebacker can tell 53, fake the blitz, but actually send 52 in. All right, so the middle linebacker is like the captain of the defense. And if we have a very smart, intelligent linebacker as the captain, that'll make things easier. Also, for linebackers, we need sure tackling linebackers. We don't need any linebackers that's just going to like throw in their elbow and that's going to tackle them. Sure tackling linebackers that can wrap people up and take them down. I mean, it's nice to lay down the lumber on some wide receiver that's running a slant in the middle of the field, lay the big hit. That's fine, and it's cool, and it's exciting. It gets the crowd all fired up. But tackling. So the question I have for the Brahmas is, what kind of defensive scheme are we going to run? Typically, you have one of two type of base schemes. You have a 4-3 or a 3-4. So a 4-3 is like the 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. Well, then logic suggests in the 3-4 is going to be the opposite: 3 linemen, 4 linebackers. So as of right now, we don't know what type of defensive scheme we're going to run. I guess that's really going to be up to the defensive coordinator, Jim Herman. So Jim Herman has served 9 years as a defensive coordinator at Michigan, and he was recently the defensive coordinator with the New York Guardians, the 2020 XFL team. So that's going to be really up to him to decide what kind of base defense we're going to run. Now also, along with that, you're going to be working really close with the defensive line coach, which is Paul Spicer. Now Coach Spicer was the assistant line coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars and also the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and recently the defensive line coach with the New Orleans Breakers, which is a USFL team. And along with that is the linebackers coach, who is Joey Porter. Yes, that Joey Porter, the same Joey Porter that played with the Pittsburgh Steelers from 1999 to 2006, the Miami Dolphins from 2007 to 2009, and the Arizona Cardinals from 2010 to 2011. So those 3 are going to be working closely with each other to find out what type of scheme we're running, and then coaching up the defensive line and also the linebackers. So there is one player that I am going to be watching pretty closely, and that is Justin Alexandre. Why am I looking closely at him? Well, he is from the University of Incarnate Word, which is right down the street. I mean, just basically a hop, skip, and a jump away from the Alamo Dome. So I'm just kind of really excited to see a local kid make the team, and I'm really hoping that not only is he drafted, but he makes a team, and he goes far and does good things. And if the NFL is what he wants, that he may get there. But this is a great opportunity for him to get some plays on tape, and there's going to be scouts at these XFL games from the NFL, so maybe he can get some good fill in, and scouts will see him, and maybe we'll see what he can do. But I'm really excited to see Justin do well for the Brahmas, a local boy doing good. So that's it for my video on the defensive line and the linebackers, known as the front 7. So until next time, keep your horns up, San Antonio, and we'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one.